Hello and welcome back to the channel, folks. HeirofCarthage here, and we're going to have another awesome Roam 2 battle. Again, courtesy this time of Sol Invictus, who is going to be showing us some Nabataea gameplay. Cool faction. I believe they were in the desert expansions. I could be wrong, though. I don't remember all the DLCs perfectly well from this game, but definitely an interesting flavor. We'll take a look at their units here. And they are going to be up against the Boii, who are kind of a traditional barbarian, I'd say power faction. They're a solid faction. It's interesting though, they're not built anything like I normally see the Boii, and that could be because of the Nabataea. Now, usually the desert factions have some decent skirmish capabilities, moderate to decent infantry, and then pretty powerful cavalry options as a whole. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the way that most of these desert factions play. There's 4 slingers up front. They are backed up by armored desert hoplites. These are going to be, honestly, they've got the 30 weapon damage. That's solid. So these are going to be pretty decent hoplites as long as they don't cost too much, because they have 90 armor. Dang, man. Where the Nabataeans picked up such boss hoplites, but they've got some decent ones. We've got Nabataean axe warriors here. Nothing special, but a little bit of AP. I'm assuming these guys probably come at a decent price because they're just medium melee infantry. There's some heavy archers in a second line here. And if I'm taking a look at their secondary attack, it doesn't look like anything crazy, so I think it's just the armor. So they got a little bit extra armor there at 40. They've got good range, decent damage. And then cavalry-wise, we got some Nabataean noble cavalry over here. This is a melee cavalry. That looks like a very potent unit. 50 attack, 15 bonus versus large. It's going to be pretty tough. We got a desert heavy lancer here. Again, looks like a pretty decent cavalry unit. Another noble cavalry general. Lancer, so 3 melee cavalry, one of which is an armored camel spear. Remember, it can cost fear to horses. Let's take a look at the Boii army up front. They're going to have some Celtic slingers, nice cheap skirmish options. There's a mix of spear warriors and sword followers. Sword followers are going to be pretty capable against Nabataean infantry. Those hoplites could prove to be a bit of a pain, though, because of their 8 AP damage spear. Noble horse should be a tough match for those Nabataean noble cavalry, but there's only 2 of the noble horse. We've got a veteran spear, so interesting to see a heavy spear unit here, and we're going to have a big skirmish taking place here. Those sword followers are standing right on top of these slingers. That's not great because they're going to cop a lot of that incoming fire meant for the slingers. You got to be careful there, but yeah, decent number of sword followers and then some Celtic warriors in the middle, so kind of a light middle and heavier flanks, the way I'm seeing it here. We had a general ability popped over here, which is a rally. And let's see. So just trading skirmish fire at the moment. We'll see who comes out on top of it. The cavalry advantage is definitely in favor of Nabataea. I don't know what to say about the infantry. It's hard to... We'll have to see how these desert hoplites perform. They really could be quite decent because they are the 30 damage variety. It just depends. Their melee attack's not spectacular. I mean, they're pretty good. I mean, these guys give Spartan hoplites a run for their money, to be honest. That's some interesting power creep from CA. But yeah, we'll see. It looks like the Celtic slingers are a little bit worse for wear out of this. I don't know if it's the focus fire or what, but the Nabataean slingers are coming out pretty well at the moment. The sword followers took some health damage, like I said, being wrapped up with those slingers. Levy Freeman up front, so just a nice trade of skirmish fire here. Heavy archers are going to join too, so Nabataea's got a clear skirmish advantage. That's going to put the Boii in a tricky position. As they come charging forward, no doubt these hoplites are meant to hold, and then they're going to be reinforced by axemen. So I think the 1-2 punch of the heavy armor and defense of the hoplites, along with some decent AP damage, mixed with some more AP damage from the axe warriors, is probably going to be problematic for the Boii, especially since they're losing the skirmish, and I don't see how they can gain a cavalry advantage with what they have. So we'll see exactly how this works out. Now the Celtic warriors are under fire. They're basically being forced to try and charge quickly. At this point, we're going to see a Lancer cavalry get activated. They're very interested in these light units up front, and I don't blame them. Lancer cavalry eats stuff like that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So it's a pretty good target. But at the moment, those warriors are kind of just sitting still, waiting to charge. They got the rally here, which is going to buff up their morale a little. I think it may be a little early, but we'll see how these Lancers are going to stuff these warriors. There is a veteran spear nearby. They're going to toss some javelins, probably. No, they don't even get a javelin toss. Lancers are just going to cremate that Celtic warrior. And then the armored hoplites are going to come hold this blob. And then here comes the noble cavalry. So the entire front line of the Boii there, that kind of weak front line, is just going to utterly collapse under the weight of that Nabataean charge. Except for the veteran spear warriors, but they will now be in a tough position. Now, that was a pretty brutal charge there from the Gallic warrior. That put some serious hurt on that noble horse onto those axe warriors. That was a really nice charge. Now the sword followers are going to get their turn with the Nabataean cavalry. Oh, got crushed by the lancers. When those units go to chuck their javelins, they do not get braced. And so they will still take a really brutal head-on charge. So some cycling from the noble cavalry here is getting a lot of damage done to Nabataea in the middle. Sword followers are going to take some severe punishment early on here. If they can continue to fight, though, they should do okay into that. But like I said, those hoplites are not going to be pushovers, and they've got a lot of axes to back them up, and then there's a lot of skirmish fire coming in. And the Boii are going to be hard-pressed because of their cavalry numbers game here that they've got, and honestly they don't really have a ton of spears either. They do have this noble spear, or veteran spear I should say, up in the middle. Not a noble spear, a veteran spear, which is a heavy spear unit. It's doing okay at the moment versus those hoplites, though I don't expect it's going to do great over the long run. The continued cavalry charges may help clear up all the axemen over here. Nice charge here against the Nabataean noble cavalry. Power bar is still showing fairly even, maybe slightly in favor of the Boii at the moment. We'll see how that works out. Axe warriors did get cleaned up there. Ooh, tremendous amount of skirmish fire coming after the Boii general. And again, there's very little that the... oh, nice surround here under that desert heavy lancer. And then their own skirmishers picking apart the Nabataean noble cavalry. Nice play by the Boii. Boii fighting back despite some pretty tough disadvantages. Like going uphill against all these skirmishers and that cavalry, it's not easy. Now these noble horse need to get out of this fight though, because they're being targeted for destruction. That naked warrior there got absolutely pummeled by the Nabataean cavalry. There is some spear warriors coming to reinforce. Boii holding its ground here at the moment. We'll kind of see how this goes. It's good that they saved some of their skirmishers. Their noble horse, though, is getting cooked in this fight by all of these skirmishers. A little bit of a breakthrough here for the Boii. They definitely need to get back here and start putting some pressure into the back lines, even if it doesn't succeed immediately, because their cavalry are getting absolutely swatted by all that skirmish fire. We're going to need to see the Boii infantry push through this gap, or else these skirmishers are going to end the fight by killing the noble horse general. Yeah, the skirmishers are brutal right now. That armored camel spearmen out here still a problem. The Boii being a little bit measured with their response in some areas. I feel like the Nabataeans are kind of gaining the upper hand here because their skirmishers are just causing tremendous damage. Here comes a noble cavalry trying to shut down some more slingers. Not many noble horse left, and they're under heavy fire. Those archers deal a lot of damage quickly, by the way. There is an axe warrior that just won its fight out here. And look at this, the sword follower struggling to cut through the armored hoplites at a rapid enough pace. I feel like the Boii are falling behind here, and the main reason is right back here. Just look at this line of skirmishers. Just every second these guys are firing, they're just chipping into the already limited health and units of the Boii. It's just brutal skirmish fire. There is still slingers. Like I said, this is handy. They can do some good damage on these armored camels, but I feel like the Boii are just running out of options here. There is a Nabataean cavalry to help back here against that spear warrior. We'll see. Depends if they can somehow either, if these guys run out of ammunition or somehow get shut down. I'm still not sure if I see an avenue for Boii return because there's still quite a few axe warriors and hoplites. Then there's that camel spearman up there too that still has to be dealt with. This push against the skirmishers needed to be made just a little bit earlier for the Boii, I think, to have good effect. But the really nice focus, you'll see that these skirmishers focused in on the key Boii units, which was the two noble horse units, which were honestly doing a very good job back behind their lines. They were doing an excellent job. These skirmishers really turned the tide of this battle by wrecking those noble horse units, because imagine had they not been able to. And then they were also getting some damage done on infantry here and there. So the skirmishers, I think, are going to be the VIP here for the Nabataeans in this victory. They really did a good job. So the Boii did kind of avoid their typical build, I think, which would have left them, you know, just nothing but heavy swords, essentially, and Levy Freeman. Though I do wonder how a rush build would have potentially worked against the Nabataeans here. It would have taken a lot of fire initially, but a heavy rush, with the, I don't remember if the Boii have access to a cheaper heavy cavalry other than the noble horse. I think they do. If they do, you could have just stacked up a bunch of those, a bunch of sword followers, a bunch of levy freemen, and then just gone full bonsai, and maybe could have worked. It depends. There's a lot of skirmisher, but that whole bonsai thing, if it got to the skirmishers, I think it would have worked. Potentially, but it's hard to say. I'm a little out of touch on the games in terms of my own skill. I need to play more. Just haven't had a ton of time. These Desert Hoplites were tough units. Solid units there. So the power creep for CA finally giving some good Hoplites out. I think, again, depends on the price, but those are some pretty solid units. The Axe Warriors, a few of them did pretty well too. But these Nabataean heavy archers, in combination with the slingers, did a ton of damage in this battle, and I think were responsible for a huge amount of the value. Again, the Noble Horse put out a valiant effort. They had some good charges into the Axe Warriors, killed a lot of Nabataean cavalry, and some of the slingers were kept alive until late in the game too, which were helpful. It just wasn't enough in the end for the Boii. They just didn't quite have enough units left to finish it off. But good game. Appreciate Sol and Andre playing this one for us, and hope you all enjoyed it. I'll be back with some more soon. Heir of Carthage, signing out for now.